Per usual, that channel's for educational purposes only, is not intended as financial advice. Let's take a look at some charts. Going to do it live off the CryptoWatch desktop version. I'll put the board ID share link in the description below. I'll put the ref link for me if you're interested in downloading CryptoWatch. It's free. I'll be doing some tutorial bids on CryptoWatch later this week. But this is kind of my universe right now. Not really looking at too much. We'll start top left and make our way over here. BTC on the 4-hour with the doubled cloud here. We had a few low time frame bearish patterns now. This is an inverted Adam and Eve. This was a diamond top. Both of these are reversals. And one of the silent things that you'll notice in a bear market, in a bull market, is that bearish patterns won't reach their expected target. The expected target for this diamond was all the way down here between 24 and 25. The expected target for this Adam and Eve, depending how you want to measure it, is somewhere between 26.8, 27.2. The depth on this is a lot smaller, so it doesn't measure as far. But the problem with what this could kick off is a complete reversal, back into the cloud. Then people start talking about a bearish edge to edge on low time frames, as they were when this diamond started breaking down. So this still leans bullish. It's still above the 4-hour cloud. I still like where this sits. Would love to see how this Adam and Eve plays out first before I get too excited here. We were sort of waiting on last week's economic numbers, PCE, there was some GDP finalization, there was quarterly rollover, which rarely happens on a Friday, happened on a Friday. All that's now behind us. Asia was sort of bidding us up. Some Hong Kong news was bidding us up. To counter the bullish narrative, there was a bunch of Operation Choke Point stuff in the United States with banking. So that may be starting to catch up with us here. Ultimately, if you cut off on-ramping and off-ramping, less people are prone to use cryptocurrency. That's just the way it is, right? Unless they feel an absolute need to find an on-ramp or an off-ramp. So I don't consider that like a long-term bullish thing. If we cut off all of the inroads to crypto, how I'm thinking about myself now. Like, how am I going to get money into crypto without being flagged by my bank, right? Like, that's really happening all over the place right now. But anyway, TA-wise, we still look okay, right? Definitely watching this like a hawk up here based on this inverted Adam and Eve on the 4-hour. So low time frames have a chance at reversing. We'll see what happens when futures open here in a few minutes. On the daily, we're still above the cloud, which is great. We're still at multi-month highs, which is great. We're still in this like wacky looking megaphone thing, which honestly crypto doesn't see too often. We see a lot of inverted head and shoulders, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. We see a lot of Adam and Eves. We see cup and handles. We don't see too many of these. So this is kind of strange, kind of weird. I say that because it's hard to know what to expect here. I haven't seen hundreds of these like I've seen hundreds of other chart patterns in crypto. It's still leaning on the bullish side here. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can see where we're at relative to the breakdown in May. This is BTC on the daily. Are we leaning bullish? Of course we are, right? The question is, in everybody's mind, right? Do we go to 25 before 30? Or do we go to 30 plus and then to 25? The other little hint on the cloud here is this emergence of a TKC clamp. You can see the blue line here, the Tenkan, the yellow, the Kijun. When we get these C clamps being formed or created, that's generally a sign of overbought, oversold. In this case, it would definitely be overbought. That isn't really a secret. It isn't anything new. But it does help you sort of quantify what's going on up here by just looking at it. You could also argue this thing's just a massive bull flag, right? So I'm saying a lot of, it might go up or down, I know, but that's just the state we are in at the moment. It certainly looks like it leans towards the bullish side. Now, if we want to use even like lower, simpler technicals, this is the 1050 daily moving average. On backtesting, the 1050 does really well. The problem is you got to be careful. If we're not trending, you will get chopped up. Or if we reverse super quickly, you will get a super late entry, right? So this still looks fine. It's pointing to support at around 25. This is MACD on the bottom here. I'm not a massive fan of MACD, but again, on backtesting, it does perform decently well. So, you could argue maybe there's a just bear div on this whole move. It's not, to me, it's not leaning like it's going to break out imminently. It's not leaning like, oh, this is a massive margin long here. I don't see that. Is it blanketly bullish? Yes. Can it still easily go to 30? Yes, but it doesn't scream at me here that we're going higher just based on technicals, right? Now, if you think that based on fundamentals, based on banking problems, or how businesses in crypto are needing crypto to actually do business, that this is going to push prices higher, certainly possible. This is the weekly now. Two things I really like to watch on the weekly. The 20-week moving average is the yellow line here, which is the midline of Bollinger Bands for those Bollinger Bands enjoyers at home, as well as the weekly RSI. If we're above 50 on the weekly RSI, it's usually go time. Below 50, bear time. So we're both above the 20. We've been above the 20. We retested the 20, and we're above RSI here. That 50 neutral zone. We're not overbought. We're not painting, divs like we were in 2020. None of that just yet, right? We got a long ways to go. If this is the ball game, it's like the first inning still. Okay, we're not even above the weekly cloud yet. Ideally, as we get into halving, then we get this weekly cloud breakout. But the risk reward here, based on where we're at relative to the Kijun, which is this yellow line here, isn't screaming long either. That risk reward much better down here. That isn't to say we won't still attempt for it, right? I don't want to sound like I'm bearish, because I'm not. But when you're talking about sizing, leverage, duration, right, all that fun stuff, it's a different environment than it was a couple weeks ago relative to this risk reward setup on the cloud. Still looks great. Still want to see a move into the weekly cloud. That's going to take some time. But the trajectory looks really good. And, if you're looking at this on singled settings, we'll just cheat and say that's like the 3-day or something. Looking at this on like the singled weekly, let's say, you're still seeing a level somewhere around 32 is my guess. Completely fine, completely reasonable. I don't think that's not going to happen. It's just a matter of risk reward if you're not already in the trade up here, I think. And again, you can see on not super high time frames, but also higher than the daily, we're getting this series of highs on less and less momentum, depending on RSI or MACD, whatever you want to look at. So we're getting a little tired up here, and this is an interesting level based on where we broke down from. There's also a lot of chatter about oil output getting smacked down by the cartels around the world, and that may have some bearish effects on crypto. If you're sort of looking for stuff in the macro space, what's going on right now? Are regional banks still collapsing? Not really. It seems like things are okay on that end. What we're seeing more over the past week is countries trying to dump the dollar for their own ecosystem, and then just, I don't know, to me it looks like other countries are trying to pressure the United States into making decisions they don't necessarily want to make in regards to oil output going down, energy costs going up, inflation picture being not as rosy as it was. Maybe that's all just a conspiracy theory, but anyway, still looks good for 32 on BTC. So I like this. It's just, if I'm not in a trade yet, what I'm really looking at is this 4 hour. I am like a hawk watching how this Adam and Eve is going to play out, especially because we see this a lot. It looks so good. It's so silly to think at least fractals play out a specific way, but they do, and we see them very frequently. This is no doubt about it to me, Adam and Eve. As far as ETH is concerned, not much has happened for ETH. ETH also has this weird megaphone thing / bull flag / at the highs, right? It's got a lot going on. It also has just general bullishness. It's above the 200 on the daily. It's above the cloud on the daily. It's got levels higher. Really all I care about for ETH is where are we at in this range? And what does that range measure to, assuming we go higher, right? You take a conservative high and a conservative low, you get a range of 2200 to 2400. Now, if you want to get a little crazier, we take the ultimate high, ultimate low, and then that blows out our target a little bit. I think a conservative, reasonable place that ETH may go on any move higher is 22 to 25. I wouldn't count on this, super bullish 27 to 31 just yet. It's got Shanghai and Capella to deal with on the 12th. It's got Unlock to deal with that may take 3 months, right? I mean, we're going to watch it real time we'll know very quickly how many people are withdrawing. There may be a domino effect of people seeing people withdraw. People get nervous. Should be fun. Whatever happens, it'll be fun. It's about the friends we made along the way as we watch that event happen. But you can look at conservative and aggressive estimates of that as well and sort of game theory that out. If a bunch of the ETH gets unlocked, it's going to take a long time to just see that play out. And I think that's definitely having an effect on ETH BTC, which continues to just look, kind of lethargic and gross. It's sort of survived here at these lows. You could also argue a bear flag. Anytime you see tight candles like that, if you go to a different time frame, inevitably you will see what could be interpreted as a bear flag or a bear pennant. Now we had something similar down here, where we had this extended down move consolidation. So it's not necessarily over for ETH BTC, but I can't imagine ETH BTC is bullish into Shanghai, into Shapella, if you will. It may get bullish on the news that it went through the upgrade and it was successful, but inevitably there will be some sort of selling pressure coming down. There are tons of people on Twitter, CT, who are turbo bearish ETH. That's fine, right? I like to see all views and then make my own. But just based on TA, ETH BTC looks a little sad here. So again, what I'm really watching is just this low time frame Adam and Eve on BTC. I'll put all the links to the boards and the Crypto Watch stuff in the description of this video below. That's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.